Picture this: Jaime Lee Curtis nearly walking off set before the cameras even rolled. A legendary composer's score was completely scrapped and replaced, and 4 different masks were used for Michael Myers, one of them made entirely out of CGI. Halloween H20, 20 years later, was supposed to resurrect a legend with elegance and closure. Instead, it became a storm of studio politics, broken promises, and haunted mistakes. From fractured contracts to fractured bones, these are 20 disturbing, chaotic, and downright unbelievable facts that expose the madness behind one of horror's most conflicted sequels.
Michael!
Fact 1. Jaime Lee Curtis almost quit weeks before filming. Jaime Lee Curtis wasn't just returning to Halloween for nostalgia. She wanted finality. After 20 years of Laurie Strode's trauma, she demanded one thing: Michael Myers had to die. But producer Mustafa Akkad refused. His contract forbade any writer or director from killing Michael, a business move to protect the franchise's future. Curtis called it a betrayal. She'd already committed publicly to the film, but learning she couldn't end the story shattered her trust. For weeks, she considered quitting altogether. Then screenwriter Kevin Williamson stepped in with a bold fix, a secret ending twist where Laurie kills a paramedic in disguise, not Michael himself. Curtis agreed, but only if that footage never appeared in H20. She wanted audiences to believe it was the real ending. That promise, of course, was broken years later in Halloween: resurrection. For Curtis, it became a painful reminder that even her character's piece could be undone by a clause buried deep in a producer's contract.
Do you think they made it to Yosemite? Do you think they're there?
I don't know.
Fact 2. The sequel's twist was filmed the day after H20 wrapped. While Curtis thought her film gave Laurie Strode closure, the studio was already planning her undoing. The paramedic switch twist, the one used in Halloween Resurrection, wasn't filmed in 2001. It was shot the day after H20 wrapped. As the crew packed up, Dimension quietly brought in a skeleton team, props, and an ambulance to film the secret footage. They didn't tell Curtis, they didn't tell the director, they didn't even tell the cast. The footage was then locked away for 4 years, waiting to be used in the sequel. When Curtis eventually discovered the deception, she said she felt tricked. What she thought was Laurie's final triumph had been rewritten before audiences even saw it. In one of horror's most infamous behind-the-scenes betrayals, the illusion of closure was manufactured, then quietly dismantled before the public ever knew. Fact 3. John Carpenter wanted $10 million to direct. When Jaime Lee Curtis signed on, she wanted one man behind the camera: John Carpenter, the man who started it all. And for a brief moment, it almost happened. Carpenter agreed, but demanded $10 million and a 3-picture deal. It wasn't greed. He'd made almost nothing from the original Halloween, despite its massive profits. Akkad's contracts funneled most of the money away from him, and this was his chance to reclaim what he was owed. The Weinsteins refused. They called his demand unreasonable and hired Steve Miner instead, the same director behind Friday the 13th Part 2 and Part 3. That made Miner the only filmmaker to ever direct both Halloween and Friday the 13th entries. Carpenter's absence shaped the film's entire tone. Without his vision, H20 leaned into the glossy, fast-paced energy of the late 90s slasher boom instead of the slow-burning dread that defined the original. Fans still debate what kind of film it might have been if Carpenter had returned to finish what he started. Fact 4. The movie's title accidentally references water. H20 was meant to stand for Halloween 20 years later, but nobody told the audience. From the moment trailers dropped, fans thought it meant water. The marketing department panicked and decided to play along, releasing a tagline that read, "Blood is thicker than water." They even emphasized blue tones in posters to make it look intentional. But the coincidences went deeper. Pure Water has a pH of 7, and Halloween H20 happened to be the 7th film in the franchise. Mad Magazine joined in the fun, parodying it as "Hollow Scream, It's Too Slow." Despite the confusion, the title stuck. Today, fans still joke about Halloween Water Edition, while others argue it's secretly one of the most clever sequel titles ever. Accidental symbolism that somehow fits a franchise built on accidents and improvisation. Fact 5. The original score was completely rejected and replaced. Composer John Ottman poured his heart into Halloween H20. For months, he crafted a brooding, elegant score that blended modern orchestration with haunting echoes of Carpenter's original theme. Then the studio heard it and hated it. Bob Weinstein allegedly dismissed it after one screening, saying it wasn't scary enough. Instead of giving Ottman a chance to revise, they scrapped his entire score. They replaced it with recycled cues from Scream, Scream 2, and Mimic, bringing in Marco Beltrami to patch together new music at the last minute. Ottman's work was buried, unheard by audiences for decades. The final film became a jarring mix of tones, some scenes underscored with eerie tension, others abruptly shifting into music lifted from completely different movies. No official H20 soundtrack was ever released, and Ottman's original compositions remain unreleased. In the end, the film's own sound became a symbol of its fractured identity, part homage, part imitation, and part corporate compromise. Fact 6. Josh Hartnett intentionally ruined his hair. Josh Hartnett's now infamous haircut wasn't a mistake. It was a rebellion. The up-and-coming actor hated the polished Hollywood image the studio wanted for him. Between takes, he'd run his fingers through his hair to mess it up or flatten it beneath a beanie, driving the hair department insane. Director Steve Miner wanted consistency, but Hartnett refused. He said, "Real teenagers don't look perfect." His natural defiance gave his character a grounded realism amid the film's polished horror aesthetic. Even LL Cool J joined in on the joke. His improvised line, "and comb your hair," made it into the movie. The result is one of horror's most memorable bad haircuts. It became a strange hallmark of authenticity, a tiny rebellion against studio control. In a film torn between sleek presentation and genuine emotion, Hartnett's messy hair ended up symbolizing exactly what H20 was, a movie fighting to stay human inside a Hollywood machine. Fact 7. 4 different masks were used in production. Michael Myers didn't wear one mask in Halloween H20. He wore 4. Production started with the Buchler mask, meant to modernize the shape's look, but when early footage screened, producers panicked. One executive reportedly shouted, "That's not Michael Myers." They ordered a redesign from KNB Effects. Filming continued for weeks, and then that mask was rejected too. Finally, they turned to Stan Winston Studios, spending over $1 million on reshoots and new materials. By the end, the film featured shots of every mask version spliced together. Continuity became impossible. Some scenes shift from one mask to another mid-sequence, creating a subtle unease that fans instantly noticed. Ironically, this constant change gave Michael a surreal quality, an unintentional metaphor for how the production itself struggled with identity. Each mask reflected a different creative vision, stitched together into one fragmented portrayal of evil. Fact 8. One scene features a fully CGI mask. If Michael Myers looks strange in one particular shot, you're not imagining things. During Charlie's death scene in the dorm kitchen, the filmmakers faced a problem. The set was gone, but they needed new close-ups. Their solution was digital, literally. They used computer graphics to paint over the old mask frame by frame. The result looks off, almost rubbery and eerily fake. Even stuntman Chris Durand admitted it looked terrible. In 1998, CGI was still primitive, especially for something as subtle as a human mask. Instead of fixing the issue, it created one of horror's most mocked moments. Fans called it PlayStation Myers. Yet, in hindsight, it's a fascinating time capsule, a glimpse of early digital experimentation in a genre built on practical effects. The CGI mask remains a lesson for filmmakers. Sometimes imperfection captured on film looks far better than digital perfection that never feels real. Fact 9. Chris Durand played both Michael Myers and Ghostface. Before becoming Michael Myers, Chris Durand had already worn another infamous mask, Ghostface in Scream 2. The stuntman turned actor was chosen for his controlled movement and imposing stature. Durand deliberately avoided watching earlier Halloween movies. He wanted his own interpretation, more deliberate, less theatrical. But halfway through filming, the production chaos struck again. When the mask design changed, Durand had to reshoot sequences sometimes months apart, wearing entirely different versions of the shape. Despite the constant interference, his performance remained disciplined. He gave Michael a fluid, relentless quality that fans praised for its realism. After the film, Duran received letters from viewers saying his version of Michael felt human but unstoppable. He was never asked back for the later reboots, but his double legacy endures. One man who embodied two of the greatest masked killers in 90s horror, forever trapped between two franchises that defined an era. Fact 10. The opening newspaper contains a major error. The first thing audiences see in Halloween H20 is a newspaper headline about Laurie Strode faking her death after the Halloween murders of 1968. There's just one problem. The original Halloween takes place in 1978. The 10-year error somehow slipped past every stage of production, from prop design to editing to final approval. For a film so focused on honoring its legacy, it stumbled right out of the gate. Fans caught the mistake instantly, pointing it out in reviews and online forums. It became a running joke among horror enthusiasts, an early sign of how chaotic the production had been. The detail is small, but it reveals how disorganized things were behind the scenes. For a movie built on confronting the past, it ironically couldn't even remember its own timeline. That single misprint said everything about the tension between nostalgia and neglect that defined H20's creation. Fact 11. Donald Pleasence's name is misspelled in the credits. When Halloween H20 closes, a solemn message appears in memory of Donald Pleasence. But look closely, the name is spelled wrong. It's a shocking oversight for a franchise that owes so much to him. Pleasence played Dr. Loomis across 5 films, embodying the soul of the series for nearly 2 decades. To see his name misspelled in a memorial meant to honor him was a painful moment for fans and crew alike. Even worse, no correction was ever made. The typo remains on every home video release, frozen in time as a permanent blemish. It's almost symbolic, a film that wanted to celebrate its legacy but kept tripping over it. Pleasence once said that Loomis was the only man who truly understood evil. Fittingly, the series couldn't quite get his name right, a hauntingly ironic reminder that even legends can be forgotten in the chaos of Hollywood deadlines. Fact 12. Dr. Loomis's voice was recreated by a sound-alike. When H20 begins, the haunting voice of Dr. Loomis sets the tone, describing Michael Myers' unstoppable evil. But that isn't Donald Pleasence speaking. It's an impersonator. The studio desperately wanted Loomis's presence in the opening, but no clean audio existed from the 1978 film. Every line had music or background noise underneath it, so producers hired voice actor Tom Kane to mimic Pleasence's distinctive tone, the calm, chilling cadence that fans recognized instantly. Kane studied Pleasence's performances for weeks, matching his rhythm and inflection. The illusion worked. Most audiences never realized it wasn't him. But for those who did, it felt uncanny, like hearing a ghost. Today, with modern audio tools, they could have separated Pleasence's real voice and restored it perfectly. But in 1998, this was the only way to bring Loomis back from the dead. It's one of the eeriest examples of how technology and memory tried to resurrect a legend that was truly gone. Fact 13. Janet Leigh drives the exact same car from Psycho. Jaime Lee Curtis's mother, Janet Leigh, doesn't just appear in Halloween H20. She brings history with her. Leigh, best known as Marion Crane from Alfred Hitchcock's Psycho, plays school secretary Norma Watson, and nearly every detail about her role is a tribute to that earlier horror masterpiece. Her character's name, Norma, is a nod to Norman Bates. She references showers in casual conversation, but the most remarkable Easter egg is her car. It's not just similar to Marion Crane's, it's the exact same 1957 Ford sedan from Psycho, complete with the original license plate NFB 418. When she steps out of that car, it's more than a joke. It's 2 generations of Scream Queens passing the torch. For a film built on legacy, that single shot, mother and daughter united by horror, became one of the most poetic images in the entire series. Fact 14. Actor Mike Myers declined a cameo. At the height of Austin Powers' fame, comedian Mike Myers was invited to make a tongue-in-cheek cameo in Halloween H20. The idea? Have him walk past Laurie Strode, exchange a confused glance, and keep going. Jaime Lee Curtis loved it. The producers reached out formally, thinking it would be a fun inside joke for audiences, a brief moment where two Michael Myers would share the same screen. But Mike Myers politely declined. He was riding massive success at the time and didn't want to blur his comedic brand with horror. Had it happened, it might have been one of the most iconic cameos in film history, a crossover between terror and parody, symbolically closing the loop between fear and laughter. Instead, it remains one of those perfect what-ifs, a missed opportunity that could have become a legendary meta moment in horror history. Fact 15. LL Cool J was only cast based on market research. LL Cool J's role in Halloween H20 wasn't born from artistic inspiration, it came from data. In the late 90s, Dimension Films' marketing department noticed that horror movies were performing especially well among African American audiences. Casting a popular rapper-turned-actor, they reasoned, could boost ticket sales. So LL Cool J was chosen for purely strategic reasons, but what the studio didn't expect was his dedication. LL took the job seriously, watching other actors work between takes and asking questions about lighting, camera angles, and performance technique. He transformed what could have been a one-note comic relief role into a surprisingly heartfelt character. His warmth and charisma gave audiences someone to root for amid the chaos. The fan response was overwhelmingly positive, and it marked the start of LL's long career in film and television. What began as a marketing ploy became a career-defining turning point, proof that genuine effort can outshine cynical studio strategy. Fact 16. Curtis's stunt double broke her foot during filming. During the climactic car scene where Laurie speeds toward the locked gate, tragedy struck behind the camera. Jaime Lee Curtis's stunt double, Donna Keegan, performed the driving sequence, but when she slammed on the brakes, the car's safety system malfunctioned. The pedal kicked back violently, breaking her foot on impact. It wasn't just a minor break. The injury was a compound fracture. The bone pierced her skin and boot. Keegan was rushed to the hospital for emergency surgery. Remarkably, she returned to work after recovering, determined to finish the film. Her dedication went unnoticed by audiences, but without her, some of H20's most iconic action shots wouldn't exist. The moment when Laurie's car screeches to a halt isn't just movie tension. It's real danger, captured forever on film. It's a stark reminder that even the safest-looking stunts can come with terrifying risks. Fact 17. A deleted scene referenced Halloween 4-6. Kevin Williamson's original treatment for Halloween H20 didn't ignore the sequels that came before. It acknowledged them. One deleted classroom scene revealed a student giving a presentation on the Haddonfield murders, directly mentioning Jamie Lloyd, Laurie Strode's daughter from Halloween 4, 5, and 6. In the scene, Laurie sits silently, listening as the student recounts Jamie's death. The emotional weight is too much. She excuses herself and runs out to vomit. It would have connected H20 to the previous films and given Laurie's trauma even deeper meaning. But Dimension Films wanted a clean reboot. They cut the scene and erased Jamie Lloyd's storyline completely, effectively wiping Halloween 4-6 from continuity. Fans were furious, but the studio saw it as a necessary reset. The deleted moment now exists only in script form, a ghost of a timeline the series tried to forget. Fact 18. Michael was originally supposed to speak. In one early version of H20's finale, Michael Myers was meant to do something unthinkable: speak. After being pinned and trapped, he was to look Laurie in the eyes and whisper a single word: Laurie. The scene was filmed but never used. Producer Mustafa Akkad hated it, saying it destroyed what made Michael terrifying. To him, the shape was evil incarnate. Pure silence, pure mystery. Giving him a voice would humanize him, breaking decades of lore. Jaime Lee Curtis reportedly found the moment powerful, a final connection between hunter and hunted, but the producers overruled her. The footage was cut, leaving only the faint suggestion of recognition in Michael's eyes. In the end, silence won. The shape stayed mute, proving that what you don't hear can sometimes be far more chilling than any word ever spoken. Fact 19. The film made $75 million. For a slasher sequel, Halloween H20 was a massive success. With a production budget of $17 million, including over $1 million spent on mask reshoots, The film earned $16 million in its opening weekend and grossed $75 million worldwide. It became the franchise's highest-grossing entry until the 2018 reboot. The success was more than financial. It resurrected Halloween as a viable property after years of decline. Merchandising, reissues, and new fan interest surged. Critics were split. Some praised its restraint and emotional depth. Others called it Scream in a Mask. But audiences turned out in droves, driven by nostalgia and Curtis's return. For the first time since 1978, Halloween felt alive again. Its success proved something vital. In horror, legacy still sells, especially when the survivor comes home to finish what she started.
Have fun.
You sure?
Yes. Look, it's good for you. It's good for me.
Fact 20. The film almost went directly to video. Few fans realize how close Halloween H20 came to skipping theaters entirely. After Halloween 6, The Curse of Michael Myers bombed at the box office. The franchise was effectively dead. Dimension considered releasing the next sequel straight to video, a humiliating end for a once iconic series. Then Jaime Lee Curtis expressed interest in returning. That single decision changed everything. Her involvement turned a forgotten sequel into a full-scale production. The budget increased, the marketing campaign expanded, and H20 was suddenly positioned as a major theatrical event. Without Curtis, Halloween might have vanished into bargain bins alongside low-budget horror knockoffs. Instead, her return revived the series for a new generation and restored its cinematic prestige. In a very real sense, Jaime Lee Curtis didn't just save Laurie Strode, she saved Halloween itself.
Hi.
And there you have it. 20 disturbing, chaotic, and unforgettable facts about Halloween H20 20 years later. A film that tried to honor its legacy but couldn't escape it. From broken promises to broken bones, it stands as a snapshot of late 90s Hollywood horror. Stylish, conflicted, and full of behind-the-scenes ghosts. Which of these stories shocked you the most? Let us know in the comments below. If you enjoyed this deep dive into horror history, hit subscribe for more untold secrets behind your favorite films. Until next time, stay curious and stay scared.